On this day in Tudor history, the 20th of October 1549, a man you've probably never heard of, but whose pen and purse strings helped run the north of England for decades, slipped off this mortal coil. His name was John Uvedale, often written Woodall or Udall, an administrator who served from the last years of Henry VII through to Edward VI. If you like the hidden machinery of Tudor government, the letters, seals, tallies, musters and money, this one's for you. I'm historian and author Claire Ridgway, and today we're meeting a fixer behind the scenes. John Uvedale first appears in royal service in 1503 as a clerk in the Signet Office. That's the small, nimble secretariat that drafted the king's most immediate letters. By 1517, he'd been sworn Clerk of the Pells at the Exchequer, the official who records payments and receipts, a post confirmed again in 1520 after his predecessor's death. He kept that Exchequer office for life, even when deputies did the day-to-day work while he was away on northern business. It gives you a sense of him straight away. Trusted with money, trusted with paper, trusted with process. In 1525, the young Duke of Richmond, Henry VIII's illegitimate son, Henry Fitzroy, was set up with a council in the north. Uvedale was chosen as secretary, and the north would be his stage for the rest of his career. He stayed on when that council was reshaped after the Pilgrimage of Grace, serving as secretary to the re-established Council of the North and helping the Crown reassert order, examining seditious speech, surveying and receiving monastic surrenders, and sitting on commissions of the peace. For a brief striking moment, he stepped right into the glare of court. In 1533, Thomas Cromwell secured him the post of secretary to Queen Anne Boleyn. You'll sometimes see him styled the Queen's Secretary again in 1534 when he shares a lease of Dartmoor lead mines with Cromwell, proof that he'd become useful to the reforming inner circle. After Anne's fall and the Northern Crisis, he returned to Yorkshire, where his skills were most needed, but it tells you how highly he was regarded. The same man could serve the king's son in the north and the Queen at court. Like many capable Tudor officials, Uvedale wasn't just a functionary. He had views. In 1538, he supported the total suppression of the monasteries, and in 1540 he urged Cromwell to order Bibles to be set up in cathedral and collegiate churches with seats and forms so people of all ages could read and study. That's a lovely little human detail. He wasn't thinking only of statutes and seals, but of where a reader would sit. And yes, like many officials, he made a home from the dissolution, Marwick Priory in the North Riding. He pushed for a lease from 1541 and finally bought the site in 1545, planting his family among the Yorkshire gentry. It's the classic Tudor arc: service, opportunity, a modest estate, and a legacy for his children. If you've ever wondered who actually paid the armies, here he is. From 1542 he served as paymaster on the borders. By 1546 he was the under-treasurer for the Scottish War, dispersing truly enormous sums and wrestling with the perennial Tudor problem: too many bills, too little coin. He worked from Newcastle with a staff of clerks, issuing wages, recording ordnance, and feeding the paper trail that made campaigns possible. It wasn't glamorous, and it did wear him down. In his last years, he complained of infirmity and the misery of unpaid, diseased soldiers begging to render his accounts and retire. He was permitted to come south in August 1549 to settle his books, and death sadly followed within just weeks. There's good reason to think Uvedale sat in Parliament, likely for Berwick, by 1533 to 1534, almost certainly as a government nominee. It fits the picture, a reliable crown man bridging Whitehall and the border towns. His background is rather hazy. His surname was often written Woodall, Woodhall, but he signed Uvedale and used the arms of the Hampshire gentry family of that name. Reinvention? Perhaps. More likely the tidy habit of a career administrator. Choose a spelling, stick to it, keep your papers straight. By the 1530s, Uvedale had embraced Protestant beliefs. In his 1546 will, he wrote that his soul was preserved by Christ's grace alone, not by any works. Pure Reformation language. He left Marrick and his accrued rights in leases and mines to his son Avery. His daughter Ursula had married his trusted clerk Gilbert Claydon. And on the 20th of October 1549, after nearly half a century in royal service, signet clerk, exchequer officer, Queen's secretary, Northern secretary, commissioner and war treasurer, John Uvedale died. I think Uvedale is a perfect reminder that Tudor England wasn't run only by dazzling courtiers and bloody generals. It depended on meticulous men who could count, copy, persuade and pay, and then do it all again next week. Men most people have never heard of. If you enjoyed meeting one of the Tudor backroom builders, please like and subscribe for daily history, and tell me in the comments, would you rather be the star at court or the steady hand who makes the kingdom work? Or a peasant safe away from all of the intrigue? I think that would be me. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.